Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mutiara Arasti Hasibuan, and I will present about enhancing EFL learners' writing skill via journal writing, written by Lu Chongchuan. First, we talk about background of this research. First is competent writing. Out of the four fundamental language skills in the language learning process, competent writing is frequently accepted as being the last language skill to be acquired for native speakers of the language, as well as for foreign or second language learners. Because writing is a skill, it makes sense that the more you practice writing, the better you will write. One excellent way to get practice writing, even before begin composing essays, is to keep a daily or almost daily journal. And the second is EFL learners' success in English writing brings them benefits not solely in their English learning but also in their lifelong careers. As Glazer contends, being able to write in English is essential in college, and it probably will be an asset in your career. The nature of writing itself is not interesting enough to motivate English learners to practice regularly. In terms of fluency by Nuna maintains that producing a coherent, fluent, extended writing piece is likely the most difficult thing in the language, since the reader has to comprehend what has been written without, without asking for clarification or relying on the various tone of voice or expression. And the last is students' idea. Several students not purely encounter the insipidity in writing, but find themselves in a hide and seek game with ideas as well, since they normally have to write about what is assigned by their teacher rather than about what bears much relevance to them. For numerous EF learners, English writing appears to be challenging. To a preponderance of EF learners, nothing is more discouraging than doing a writing task and knowing that it will come under the eyes of the teacher, who will consider it is a source of errors to be corrected. As Ham and Hesley states, few people write spontaneously and feel comfortable with a formal writing task intended for the eyes of someone else, when the someone else is the teacher, whose eyes may be critical and who indeed might assign an individual assessment to the written product. Most people feel uncomfortable. The research objectives. From this research, the researchers want to find out whether journal writing enhances students' writing skill in terms of fluency and accuracy, and whether journal writing generates students' writing motivation. The theoretical framework of this research is socio-cognitive theory. This theory focuses on how and why people tend to imitate what is seen through the media. It is a theory that focuses on our capacity to learn by experiencing it firsthand. The process of learning through observation depends on several factors, includes factors of the subject's ability to understand and remember what he saw, identify media characters, and various things that guide the process of modeling behavior. Sociocognitive theory is one of the most frequently used theories to research media and mass communication. The research method of this research is first the design. The design of this research method is quasi-experimental research. A quasi-experimental research is a type of research design that has a control group and the experimental group is not chosen randomly. And we come to the instruments of this research method of this research. First is pretest and post-test in the form of essay writing, interview, questionnaire survey, and last is a series of writing tests. This was implemented to check for improvement in fluency, accuracy, and writing scores to students. The result or findings of this research is first, impact of journal writing practice on learners' writing fluency. Since fluency tends to hinge on more lexicalized modes of communication, writing fluency in this research was measured through the writing speed, like the number of words produced within a limited length of time and the degree of task completion. So, the difference in the average number of words written by the students in the experimental group between the post-test and the pre-test was was 4.01% words, whereas that in the control group between the post-test and the pre-test was 9.58% words, implying that the writing pace of the students in the experimental group improved to a higher extent than those in the control group. Similarly, uh, the students in the experimental group demonstrated the better improvement in the extent of writing task completion than those in the control group. The disparity in the number of unfinished writing pieces submitted by the students in the experimental group between the post-test and the pre-test was minus 40% words, while that in the control group between the post-test and the pre-test was minus 66.67% words. And impact of journal writing practice on learners' writing accuracy. The average number of errors left in the pre-test papers by the students in the control group was 22.56 and that by the students in the experimental group was 23.02. Therefore, the gap in the average number of errors left by the students between the two groups was 0.46 errors, denoting that at the departure of journal writing practice, the writing accuracy level of the students did not substantially differ, and the average number of mistakes made by the students in the experimental group fell by 64.64% mistakes in the post-test compared with the pre-test, whereas that in the control group dropped by 29.70% mistakes in the post-test compared with the pre-test, which implies that the students in the experimental group demonstrated the better progress in the level of writing accuracy than those in the control group. And last is impact of journal writing practice on learners' writing scores. The average post-test score gained by the students in the experimental group increased by 24.67 percent points compared to the average pretest score, while that in the control group increased merely 7.32 percent points compared to the average pretest score. So we come to the conclusion of this research. The conclusion of this research is English writing for a number of EFL learners appears to be challenging. This research sought to investigate if learners can grow out of the writing difficulties by engaging in journal writing activity. This research investigates the benefits of journal writing as an extensive activity to nurture learners' writing motivation and boost their writing skill, as well as to establish a close rapport between teachers and learners. Through reading and responding to learners' journal entries, teachers are able to measure each learner's competence and understand their needs, thoughts, and feelings, which helps teachers accommodate their teaching ways to learners' preference and give learners appropriate assistance to their problem along the writing course. So, this research hope that the teachers accommodate their teaching ways to motivate the EFL learners to writing skills. That's all from me. That's all my present, and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.